Alrighty, so for week 7 in our course, we're going to finish the relating lecture code along this week. And then next week, and the week after, and possibly the week after, we're going to have problem sets. Because really, that's where you figure out how well you're translating what you're learning in the code along lectures. Okay? So that will be coming at you. The thing I'd like to say about, by the way, on the part 2, one thing I did add, just to give you a reference, is still the break. And by the way, to qualify for the break, you still have to tell me you're taking a break, okay? Because some of you are taking a break and not telling me because it's like kind of you assume. So don't assume. Just make it clear. And the other benefit many of you are already reaping is that I look at your output to see if there's anything in there that is missing. Now this becomes especially important on these breaks when we're in problem sets, right? Okay, so this time we cover join queries, okay, which are really, I would say, the most important thing you walk out of this lecture with. But also, I really like that Carter covers sets. The intersect and the exception. I think these are accepting. I think these are good to know. And then groups. Groups are also because understanding them with order is another way to have something similar as the join, but without all the syntax, depending on what your needs are. Okay, so the group by. I don't know why that didn't come out right. I'll fix it. But one thing I did include was a number of lines in the proof of work file. So just kind of check that as you're looking at it to make sure you have that right. And remember how I grade, right? Is I look at your commit, and in the commit I should see your proof of work, I should see notes if that was required, and of course I see the queries. And that's what I look for, is did you get all those commits and was all the content in there as needed? Okay. Just FYI. Now, these AI reviews that we're doing at the end of the week there are particular challenges to them for me. And I suspect for you. I appreciate Justin and Jacob really getting back to me because they tend to work ahead, and I appreciate that. And they catch things so that I can try to fix them. And for week 6, which for everybody just passed, there was definitely some challenges because as these queries become more involved, right, asking you to write the whole thing is not really doable in the prompt, even with giving it a new line, and the cut and paste is not there. And I've been thinking about ways moving forward how we're going to do it. So this week I actually ended up asking for, now this is not a join query, but examples of how to make this a little more doable. Because even if, let's say, there's a question, in this case, right, a select statement with a where. Now this is not even a subquery. Actually, no, it is. In this case, it is a subquery. So in order to answer that, to answer the where part of that, you would still have to understand the entire query. So my goal for the AI review this week is actually to implement that, because for week 6 I ended up going to mostly concepts, which are not bad, honestly, because understanding those concepts is important. But my goal with the AI reviews is just to give you more time actually coding SQL, because that's really where you learn, is actually take a problem and solve it with SQL. Okay, so just FYI, it's a work in progress, and it's something that can be very nerve-wracking for me, and not that I need you to make it okay, but when you're using AI, it just doesn't behave the way you want it to, even if your prompt, and that's really what I'm doing, is I'm taking the app that we've created and I'm injecting into it my requirements, and then it's sent off to, in this case, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and it gets back the response that you're seeing in the conversations that you're having. So sometimes, I think most of the time it's worked, right? If you want to give me feedback, again, I kind of stopped asking for it because I felt like I was over asking for the feedback. But you're welcome to give that here as well. And I know Justin and I have had a conversation, and again, I appreciate so much these conversations. They really inform what's going on. I always like to check on the whole code space concept because it's just good for you to know where you're using. We're going to be now have finished February, right? So actually, no, sorry. We're in the middle of February. By the time you get here, we'll be towards the latter part of February. So keeping an eye is always a good thing. So I just want to bring back this topic, right? Is that remember where this is leading. Is starting in week 10, and then really you'll have a sign up in week 9 that I'll cover in more detail then. But I'm bringing it back to you here to keep in mind what your technical interview is, which is you come in to either Zoom or on campus, and I give you, and in this case, it's going to cover just the first part of what we learned about how to write queries, and it will also cover if you sign up and do the code, the technical interview soon, starting in week 10, it'll cover then what we've done as far as the subquery, and it probably will be join queries most likely. But, and coming in early allows you to repeat if you want to try it again. If for some reason, because these are not, I mean, it's not my intention to have these be something nervous, but when anytime somebody's asked you to do something in front of them that is still new to you, that just it's prone for stress, right? And you can see by looking in simple syllabus the percentage, right? So it's not a bad thing to go look at what the percentage is, and I believe it's 25 for this course. I have 20 on some of my, and both of my courses have a technical interview, right? So sometimes I have to go remember the technical interview. The reviews are 10, technical interview is 25, okay, percent of the course. Now, what will happen is that you will have the window of when you can do the technical interviews will open in 10. You can do them anywhere to 17, but probably week 16 or maybe even 15, I will say, listen, from here on out, you can only do one because what will happen is that, I typically see students waiting until the end. So I'm saying this to encourage you not to. And here's the other thing is as we continue with the course and the more content we cover, then those concepts are something I could place in a technical interview, right? And so I'm trying to encourage students, to get it out of the way, right? Just like get it done, get the experience. If you need to come in, do it again. I had probably 30% of the students last semester come do it again. So that's what you're going to be doing. I'll give you a series of, and I think last time I had a series of 7 or 8 things I wanted you to accomplish. It's a 30-minute thing, so it's not a lot of time, right? That's why all of the things that we're doing lead to the idea of helping you code efficiently SQL. Okay, but I'll have more details as we move forward. So your work here is to follow along with me. I actually refactor, this is a term I'll talk about, the subquery into a join query, and then code along that's worth 70 points doing the proof of work and the notes and the get workflow in that case, and then reply to the question, right? Which seems better, subqueries or joins, and why? And I talk about that, there's that generally joins are better, but you may feel like, and maybe it's because we're just getting introduced to them here. That would be really understandable. But just looking at the syntax, which kind of is easier for you to reason about, and you can look at the code that we wrote here. Okay, so that's 15 points, and then reply to at least one student is 15 points. Now you can, in your reply, ask me anything related to the topics that I've already covered. And now my job is to actually go ahead and release the attendance and the part 2, and then I work on the review. My hope is to have it out by the end of the day. In the real world, this is week 6 on a Wednesday, which is generally my due date. If I can get it done before Wednesday of the week before it's due, I try, but these AI things have been taking more time, which is fine. I signed up for this. I actually love them in the sense that I'm trying to implement new things, right? Using new tools that we have available to us. All right. Have a great week. I'll talk to you later.